Most boat buyers fall in love with a boat before they even step aboard. They see the shiny gel coat and the layout they've been dreaming of, and they miss the fact that the boat is already screaming its secrets at them. I call it the owner fingerprint. It's the hidden trail of maintenance or neglect that tells you exactly what kind of nightmare you might be buying. Today, I'm going to show you how to read that fingerprint before you even set foot in the salon. And if you know what to look for on the dock, you can save yourself thousands in survey fees on the wrong boat and years of regret. If we haven't met, my name is Maryline Bossar from Current Yachts. Our goal is to arm every boat buyer with the knowledge they need to make better decisions and be happier boat owners. We'll start with the exterior, and the first thing you want to look at is the hull, more specifically the deck joint. Follow the rub rail, that rubber or vinyl strip along the hull's edge that's there to protect the boat from dock and boat impacts. Dings and scuffs are normal, every boat has those. What you're looking for is repeated deep gouges, missing sections, or stress cracks radiating out from impact points. One bad hit is an accident. A pattern of them tells you how this boat was handled. And take a good look at the fiberglass and the gel coat overall. You're looking for signs of past repairs, where the light reflects differently, where the color is slightly off, where the curve or the finish just doesn't look right. That's the first part of the owner fingerprint. Now, look at the caulking. Every joint on this boat's exterior, around windows, hatches, seams where panels meet, has caulking. Original factory caulking is uniform, same color, texture, applied in a single consistent bead. What you're looking for is fresh, white caulking sitting on top of old, discolored material, or one spot that looks brand new while everything around it is aged. That's not maintenance. That is someone chasing a water leak, and it doesn't mean walk away, but you now have a question to ask. So now you're probably wondering, okay, what if I identified a repair that was handled properly? Fair point. The issue isn't just the repair, it's whether the repair actually solved the root problem. A surveyor can help answer the question. Spotting trouble areas or past repairs in the first 5 minutes means you get into the rest of this showing with the right mindset. Here is one that catches most buyers off guard. Has this boat been compounded in wax recently? Does the waterline look clean? Or is the bottom growing a forest? Owners who care for the cosmetic appeal of their boats also tend to change their oil on time, replace hoses before they fail, and keep maintenance logs. And when owners are more careless, the gel coat will tell you. Now, dull, oxidized gel coat is more of a signal and not a death sentence, but a signal nonetheless. And the same principle goes for the upholstery and the canvas. I will take clean, repaired upholstery over dirty but intact canvas every time. Rips happen. Dirt is a choice. Boat canvas that's mildewed, sagging, yellow, that's not age, that's neglect. And owners who let their canvas go like that, they let other things go too. One last thing on the exterior. Run your eyes over every piece of stainless steel. Cleats, railings, fittings, stanchions, and lifelines. Stainless steel rusts from the inside out. You get rust streaks running down from fittings or wire terminals, and that's not cosmetic. That's moisture getting somewhere it shouldn't. Last thing, if the boat happens to be out of the water when you view it, on the hard at a boatyard or on a trailer, you have a bonus opportunity that most buyers don't take full advantage of. Walk the entire bottom. You're looking for blistering in the gel coat below the waterline, small bubbles or raised areas in the fiberglass. Some minor blistering is common on older boats and manageable, but widespread blistering means osmosis has set in and a proper repair is a real expense. What is the condition of the bottom paint, if present? Look at the through hulls from the outside too. Those fittings should sit flush and clean against the hull, with no staining or corrosion. Check the running gear, the propellers, the shafts, the rudder. Bent shaft, nicked prop, a rudder with play in it. These are all negotiating points at a minimum and sometimes deal breakers. And if the boat has a keel, get closer and look at where the keel meets the hull. Any gap, any rust weeping, any cracking around that joint is something a surveyor needs to evaluate closely. Same idea for rudders and trim tabs, bow and stern thrusters. Don't worry about taking notes. I know it's a lot. I have compiled a downloadable checklist for you, entirely free. See the link in the description below. As you understand now, the bottom of the boat is the one part you simply cannot see when it's in the water, so when you get the chance, use it. Let's move on to the interior. Now you step aboard, and I want you to resist the natural instinct to look at the nice things, the electronics, the galley, the layout. Go straight to the floor. Look at the wear pattern. Scuffs, worn finish, scratches, expected on a used boat. But here is where it gets interesting. When you see heavy, widespread floor wear, go check the generator hours. If they're significantly higher than the engine hours, that combination is telling you something very specific. In Florida, for a typical cruiser or motor yacht, you'd expect engine hours to run at roughly half the generator hours during normal use. If that ratio flips, generator hours way up, engine hours comparatively low, you're likely looking at what we call a dock queen, a boat that spent the vast majority of its life tied to a dock, running AC, running entertainment, running appliances, never actually going anywhere. And dock queens carry hidden wear, AC units, water pumps, and plumbing system that run constantly, without the benefit of regular underway use to keep everything working the way it was designed to. The engine hours look low and appealing, but the rest of the boat tells a different story. In the Northeast, by the way, it tends to be the opposite. Engine hours are typically higher than generator hours because the climate means less AC use. Context matters. The ratio that's normal in Fort Lauderdale is very different from what's normal in Nantucket. This is one reason working with a broker who knows the regional market actually matters. If you want to go deeper on how engine hours affect a boat's value and what maintenance looks like for different propulsion types, you'll want to watch our podcast called Full Displacement. There's a link in the description below. Back to the interior. Once you've read the floor, look toward the windows and hatches. Sun damage around windows is one of the most consistently overlooked indicators on a showing. Faded, cracked, or bleached vinyl right where the sunlight hits means the owners skipped curtains, covers, or UV film. Those things cost almost nothing. If they skipped that, what else did they skip? And while you're there, look for crazing in the window panes themselves. Run your hand along the vinyl and upholstery near windows and hatches. Feel for texture differences. A panel that's stiffer than its neighbors, slightly out of shape. That vinyl absorbed a water leak and dried. Look for signs of past water infiltration, usually most visible on wood such as furniture and bulkheads. You're not seeing damage, you're seeing the record of it. Now, keep going because the most telling part of the interior is still to come. It is time to lift a few floorboards and hatches. Look down into the bilge. What you want? Dry and clean. What you don't want? Standing water, active rust on metal clamps and fittings, or discoloration from past flooding. And then, take an actual breath. A clean bilge smells like nothing. A bilge that smells like a porta potty means the waste hoses are aging out. Old waste hoses don't have to be visibly leaking to smell. The hose itself becomes porous as it ages and gas passes right through. You cannot eliminate that odor without replacing the hoses. And replacing waste hoses on a larger yacht is a real job, so factor that in. Moving on to the engine room, and that is the part that most first-time buyers rush through. I'll let the surveyor handle that. And yes, the surveyor absolutely should, but you don't need a mechanic's eyes to read an engine room. Hear me out. You need to know what to look for. You're not here to assess the engine. You're here to read the history of what leaked, what was repaired, and most importantly, how the repairs were handled. Start by looking under the engine, not at it. Under it. In a well-kept boat, you might find what's called an engine diaper, an absorbent pad placed to catch drips. Here is exactly what I want to see. A dirty, dusty diaper that's clearly been there a while with barely anything on it. That tells me the engine runs clean and the owner wasn't hiding anything. A brand new clean diaper? Someone just placed it there before you're showing. The whole point of the diaper is to show and reveal what may drip down from the engine block. So a brand new one tells me absolutely nothing and might even be covering something up. Now look at those hose clamps, those metal bands that hold hoses onto fittings throughout the engine room. Are they rusty? Not surface rust, I mean rusted to the point where tightening them would break them. Hose clamps cost almost nothing to replace. If they weren't replaced, ask yourself why. Look at the hoses themselves. Are they dry, cracked? And here's the detail most people miss entirely. Do any hoses or cables have wear marks from rubbing against other hoses, cables, or metal surfaces? Original factory hoses are routed so that they don't touch anything, and that's intentional. A hose that's rubbing against something was rerouted, likely by someone who didn't know what the original routing was there for, and that's a flag about the quality of past repair work. Here's another big one. Look at the metals around the impellers and the water pumps, the raw water cooling components. Rust there means salt water was left on the engine during a repair, someone opened something, let salt water splash and didn't clean up. That's sloppy on a job that's already done. Now you're asking how sloppy the actual work was. If you find something in the engine room that gives you pause, take photos so you can ask a marine contractor for their opinion. When we got our clients during showings, we help draw a list of questions that we direct to the listing broker or the seller, and it's essential to get the full picture on the boat. If you're looking for a buyer's broker, check out the link in the description below. Next, look at the bolts on top of the engines, the pumps, the motor mounts. Are those bolts still covered in paint or factory coating? Good, they haven't been touched since the boat was built. If you can see bare threads, if the paint is gone from a bolt head, someone removed it. Not necessarily for a bad reason, but now you know to ask what they found when they got in there. The most important thing in the engine room isn't any single component, it's the overall pattern. Rust and residue tell a story. A few spots of old rust with no active leaks and clean recent service work, that's a boat that's been maintained. Active rust drips over everything, hose clamps corroded to powder, oily residue everywhere, that's deferred maintenance. And the cost of catching up on it comes out of the purchase price, one way or another. One rule, and don't break it, do not open or close through hulls. Through hulls are the fittings that go through the bottom of the hull, seacocks for cooling and plumbing, drainage. A corroded seacock that fails when you try to open or close it is a serious problem you want no part of. Instead, photograph every through hull you can see that shows rust, discoloration, or staining around the fitting. Here is what I want you to take away from this. The owner fingerprint isn't in the listing. It's in the caulking, the rust streaks, the shape of a vinyl panel that dried out after a leak. It's in the ratio of generator hours to engine hours, in the diaper under the engine, in the paint still covering the bolts. You don't need tools. You don't need a marine background. You need a systematic approach and the willingness to get close to unfamiliar places. The bilge, the engine room, under the hatches, because owners who took care of their boats have nothing to hide. And the ones who didn't, the boat will always show you. If you are actively shopping for a boat and want someone walking through this process with you, that is exactly what we do at Current Yachts. We're yacht brokers and we are dedicated to helping you find the right boat. Thanks for watching, and if you like this video, hit the like button. It will tell YouTube you want to see more like it. We put out new content every week built around helping you make smarter decisions with your boat purchase. There are buyers out there right now stepping onto their next expensive mistake because nobody showed them this. Share it with someone who needs it. You'll want to explore our deep dive into marine surveys next. I will see you there.